Out of 100 traders who attempt the FTMO challenge, only 4 make it through. And the reason most people fail isn't what you think. I know because I was one of them for a long time. I didn't pass on my first try. I failed, then I failed again. And every single time I told myself the same lie, that I just needed a better strategy, better indicators, better setup. The problem was something I couldn't even see. Then I found what was actually missing. I passed phase 1 and after that phase 2. Fully funded on the same account. In the next couple of minutes I'm going to hand you exactly what that was, step by step, the missing piece that took me months and years to find. And let me be honest with you about something that most people in this space won't admit. When I failed the first time, I blamed my strategy, so I got a new one. When I failed the second time, I blamed my entry points, so I started studying more setups. I was running out of things to blame. That's when I finally had to look in the mirror. The strategy was never the issue. I was trading a perfectly solid system, clean structure, confidence-based entries, solid risk to reward. On paper, it worked. In backtests, it worked. But on a live FTMO account, I kept blowing. Why? Because every time I hit 2 losing trades in a row, I'd panic. I'd either stop trading for the week, missing perfectly valid setups, or I'd do the opposite and overtrade, trying to recover the loss before the week ended. That's not a strategy problem, that's a psychology and process problem. And here's the brutal truth. FTMO doesn't just test your strategy, it tests your ability to follow rules under pressure. Consistent rules every single day, even if your emotions are screaming at you to do something different. That was the real problem. And once I saw it clearly, everything shifted. So what changed? I stopped trying to find a better setup and started building what I call a trading operating system. A set of non-negotiable rules that govern how I trade, not just what I trade. Here's exactly what that looked for me on the FTMO challenge. The first rule is max 1% risk per trade. No exceptions. Not 1.5 on high conviction, not 2% because the chart looked perfect. 1% always. If I lose 1%. The account survives and I move on. The second rule, max 3% loss per day, then I stop. The moment I hit 3% drawdown in a single session, I close the platform. No revenge trading. No one more try, I'll walk away. This protects me from the kind of spirals that destroy accounts in a single afternoon. And the third rule, only trade my A+ setups. I defined exactly what a valid setups looks like for me. Structure and at least 2 confidences. If a trade doesn't tick every box, it doesn't get taken. No, this is close enough. Close enough doesn't exist. These 3 rules are simple, but simple is not the same as easy. The hard part is following them when everything in your gut tells you to bend them. That's what separates the 4% who pass from the 96% who don't. So going into phase 1, I treated it like a job interview, not a money-making opportunity. My goal wasn't to hit the profit target fast. My goal was to prove to FTMO that I could trade consistently within the rules. The first week was calm. I took 3 trades, 2 winners, 1 small loss. The second week is where most people crack. I had a rough patch, 4 losing trades across 3 days. Not big losses because of the 1% rule, but emotionally it stings. And I felt the pull to deviate, to take a trade against my criteria just to get the account moving again. I didn't. I closed the laptop and went for a walk. By week 3, I was up around 4.5%. I didn't rush. I kept taking the same setups, the same risk, the same process. By the end of week 6, I had hit the 10% target. And more importantly, I had 0 days where I broke my rules. Phase 2 felt different and not in a good way at first. It's a psychological shift that happened when you move to phase 2. Suddenly, it feels real. The funded account is right there. And that feeling is exactly where most people self-destruct. 3 days into phase 2, I had my worst day of the entire challenge. I took a valid setup and got stopped out. Took another valid setup, stopped out again. 2 losses in one morning, down 2% for the day. I felt the familiar pull, just one more. You can recover this. I remembered my rule, 3% per day. Then I stopped. I was at 2%. I still had room, but I also knew my mindset wasn't right. I was looking for recovery, not setups, and trading in recovery mode is how accounts die. So I stopped, closed everything, wrote in my trading journal what I was feeling and why I stopped. That journaling habit, something I built specifically for the trading challenge, is what kept me honest. The next week, I came back fresh, took one clean setup and won. And from that point on, phase 2 felt manageable again. Passed with 5.2% profit and 8 weeks of consistent execution. So, let me give you the exact framework that you can take away from this. Rule number 1. Risk 1% per trade. This keeps every single loss emotionally survivable and you never blow up in a day. The second rule. Set a hard daily stop at 3% drawdown. When you hit it, you're down on the day. No negotiations. This single rule will save your account more times than any single indicator ever will. And the last and third rule, define your A++ setup before you open the platform. Write it down. Entry conditions, sessions, confluences. If a trade doesn't match, you don't take it. Boredom is not a reason to trade. That's it. No exotic strategy, no special indicator, just a process, followed with discipline, day after day. The 4% who passed the FTMO challenge aren't better analysis than the 96 who fail. They're more disciplined. They've built a system, not just a strategy. Now, you have that system too. Make sure to implement it.